Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Can you all hear me okay?
I can. Well, can you hear me?
I can hear y'all, but I can't hear me.
Yeah, same here. That's kind of weird.
I can't hear me either. Are they on? Hello, testing.
Like I can hear
testing.
you, but
You
I
can
can't
hear me?
myself.
Same.
That is weird.
Weird. Well, welcome to For the Kingdom. This is Shelly. I have some beautiful ladies that are guests, co-host, Brittany Turner. Hey, Brittany.
Hey, honey.
I miss the beautiful Diana Roberts.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You're just going from one show to another, aren't you?
I do. Today, yes. On
Yay.
a Wednesday. Hey.
Wednesdays are the day.
Yes. Oh, this is the share that. Oh, okay, it's not. We're good.
Oh, Tiffany is doing something. I don't know.
Yeah. She said turn the headphones up under the table.
Oh, yeah,
Diana?
I got that. All
Okay.
right, hold on.
All right, we're having some
Technical
things.
difficulties.
Just a minute.
Anywho, happy hump day.
Happy hump day.
I can't, like, one day it's cold and then one day
Yeah.
it's
And
not
then we all wonder why
cold.
we're sick.
Oh, yeah. Like, I
ridiculous.
just got over strep throat from last week and it took basically half of Burleson out. So I hear.
Oh, okay.
So that was great. Oh, there we go.
I
Yes.
can't.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
I hear you.
can't.
I hear you now too.
Okay. All right.
Well, I could hear y'all before. I just can't hear myself. Like I can hear myself because I'm in my own head. But
Okay.
That's what was going on at my show. Like the girl, the poor Dava, she couldn't even. She was like, I can't hear myself. I was like, I'm sorry.
well, technically, anyway.
Yeah,
never mind.
no, it's good.
I'm
It's
just
good.
gonna not say.
It
anything,
sounds all
so.
right now. So,
Yeah, it's better. I had to turn it up. That's what it was.
okay.
We good now. All right. Let's go.
Yay. Okay. So we're discussing.
Disgusting.
Oh my God. No,
Not
we're not.
starting out right.
Speak
My
for yourself, ma'am. No.
No, like my chest, the stuff that's coming out of my chest. No, that's pretty disgusting. But yeah, sorry about that
all right.
visual. But we're talking about traditional holiday practices and Christianity. You know, there's a lot of people that are like, you shouldn't do that or you don't need to do that. First and foremost, let me just say, I love Jesus, but I also love the holidays. I love
Yeah.
celebrating them. My kids know the meaning for my family of what Christmas is about, but I'm not one of those ones that shame people or don't decorate or don't. Now, I didn't tell my kid. I did tell some of my kids about Santa. I told them all about Santa, but I didn't play it up with some of them like I did the other ones because I was just in a place in my life where I was going through where I was like, I don't want to lie to my kids, and I don't want them to be mad at me because I remember how distraught I was after I found out about, Santa.
Hey.
There's kids listening, but
Yeah, fair.
Lord, just please, we're a holy mess right now. Just lead us and guide us in what we say. And I hope that everything we say brings you honor and glory
Amen.
and that we don't offend you in any way. Amen. Okay. So I was going to start off with one of y'all's most memorable holiday moments.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, do you want to pray?
No.
That was my pray. That was my
That was a
prayer.
Oh, okay.
Was it
okay,
not
okay,
sincere?
okay. No, it was.
That was great.
Okay.
No,
That
it
was great.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
No,
sorry, my bad.
I'm
Go.
kind of off my kilter because I'm got this stuff.
Yeah, you're
I'm go-
cold.
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
cold. So if I sound
Sorry, I
different,
apologize. Continue, my
No,
beautiful hostess over
it
here.
was a pretty bad. It was a pretty bad
It was
prayer.
not. There's no such thing as a bad
No.
prayer.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
There's
So-
no such thing bad. Go ahead.
So so my favorite Christmas memory was like my brother is really not very loving towards me, but I have this one memory of my brother where like we were waiting for Santa and I couldn't go to sleep and I kept going to his room and he always called me ball bag growing up. So he'd be like, get back in bed, ball bag. Cause I cried a lot as a child. Imagine that.
Aw.
But the last time I came in there, he
know,
was
right?
like, you can sleep in here. And I was like, and I start to get in the bed with him. He's like, on the floor. So then I get on the floor and I'm laying on the floor and then he thinks I'm asleep and he picks me up and puts me in bed with him.
Oh, that is sweet.
So that's like my
That is
greatest
sweet.
memory as a child for the holidays. I know that's kind of weird, but
Aw.
we didn't see
Mine's-
Santa. I fell asleep before Santa came.
Aw.
But okay, so what was your favorite holiday memory?
Oh gosh, I was not prepared for this one. So I mean, one of the ones that sticks out in my head the most is I was growing up very, 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 and my mother will say she disagrees. She'll fight it tooth and nail all the time. We were not. We were very poor. And that is nothing against you, Mom. Like you did everything you could. You worked your butt off. But we were broke. And so there was this one Christmas where my mom couldn't afford to get us anything, and we couldn't afford to get anything for each other. And my sister is the same way. I love you, Moo, but you were an a-hole when we were kids, and you know this. So she was always mean to me too. And so, but whenever my mom would take us to McDonald's a lot because she never really had time to cook a lot either. And sometimes she would, but we would go to McDonald's a lot, and you always get the little toys, you know? And so I remember one Christmas, like I said, we couldn't afford to get presents, anything like that. So I went to go open this present from my sister. And I open it, and like I said, my sister was mean to me all the time. So this is kind of building up why my reaction was what it was. I open up my present from her, and it's this box full of McDonald's toys. I thought she was giving me my own toys for Christmas. So I was pissed, and I started throwing them at her. And I was like, "You're so mean." And that, because like they looked like all mine. And she goes, "No, sissy, those are mine." So she took those are the only toys we really had. And so she's like, "No, sissy, those are all mine. I gave you all my toys."
Oh.
And so then, of course, I felt like the horrible. I was like 6, I think, and she was like 8. So that was a really great memory. And then that year, my mom made us shirts and things like that for Christmas. But so stuff like that was just always nice for me.
Yeah.
But that's one that sticks out.
Diana.
Oh man. Okay, so there's one that sticks out to me the most. It's for those of you that don't know, I did grow up in Germany, and so most of my Christmases were spent in Germany in my younger years up until I was about 17. So from 6 to 17, we're all in Germany. But I love the way they celebrate Christmas. I mean, it was beautiful, and like of course the snow, and it's beautiful there during Christmas. But one of my favorite things was going to I'm trying to think of what, I guess it would be a market. It would be like the market here, like the Burleson Market and Cleveland Market. So it was like going to one of those, but it was every Christmas. And it was you would walk around and there were wooden toys, just like how yes, and like the clocks and the wooden clocks. And so the school would let us go to the market, and we'd have we'd get money from our parents, and we'd buy something, or from doing chores or whatnot, and we would go to the market and we would buy something for our family.
Oh, that's sweet.
As a school, as a class. And so I always thought that was really cool. And I always got my mom, I always got her like a new wooden carved out ornament that she could hang on the Christmas tree. And so that was one of my favorite, I guess, moments.
That's
is just
awesome.
being able to experience that, you know.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, being able to experience Christmas in different cultures and countries and be able to see how people do it differently. That's really cool.
Right.
That's like the Secret Santa workshop at the
Yes.
school districts do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The kids would come home with something from the Secret Santa workshop, whether it be a little, keychain to put a picture in, just something cute. And the kids would, bring, they would $5 would buy like the whole family
Something.
a gift.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you could get something like for all your siblings, and like I think everything was like $1 a piece or something. So I thought that was pretty cool. The schools do that, because sometimes there's kids at home that they don't get anything. So
Right.
it makes them feel good to, bring that home and be able to whether they're giving their toys away or something from Secret Santa workshop. But for me, I like making a birthday cake for Jesus, because and then I tell my kids all the gifts is because it's like God's birthday.
It is.
So that's how we celebrate it now.
That's so cute.
I like that. Yes.
Because that is the whole reason of the season, and people forget it so quickly that whether you're a Christian or not, Christmas is Christ's day. It's literally in the first part of the holiday, the whole name of it. And to have the birthday cake there is a really cool way to tie it all back together. That's really cute. I like that. Kind of like when people do the birthday cakes or cupcakes on baptismal days. It's like your baptismal birthday. It's a
Right.
new day. It's a new life. It's a new resurrection. I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like
Now,
that.
I love that you brought all the facts because
Oh yes. All
listeners,
right.
yeah.
So I didn't know we were going to jump into Christmas, so I can jump right into
we can
Christmas
go
right
back to
No,
now.
do 'em
Halloween.
all.
Oh,
This
we
is-
can
Okay,
talk about
all right.
Halloween too.
Yeah.
We can-
Halloween was like the biggest controversy I feel when
Yes,
it
it is
comes to
from
religion
Christianity.
and
Yes,
Christianity viewpoint.
absolutely.
So I definitely have some really great things and facts.
Let's jump
to,
back and go back to that then.
All right,
Because
all right,
I have
let's-
some stories about being in church and having like really bad experiences with people trying to
Yes.
shove that down your throat and good experiences. So
Right.
go, feel free. Go for
All
it.
right. Do you guys want to know where it originated?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Go
All
for it.
right. So, where Halloween really originated from was the tradition that started with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Okay.
Okay. So, the people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
sound evil? I don't think
No.
it sounds evil to
No.
me.
I don't.
The reason it sounded it looked evil to the people back in those times is because they didn't understand what they were doing. They thought they were performing some type of witchcraft
Right.
and dancing around the fires and calling evil spirits when it wasn't in that
Right.
necessarily in that degree, but other countries did other things that were definitely not that. So
It's
it just
usually
depends on what
something-
country.
People
Right.
take something and make it into something
and they
different.
twist it all
Yeah.
together and it,
Yeah. Now, if you've seen the picture of 1985 kindergarten class, kids sitting in there with all their mask on,
Oh, the scary little pokey
That-
doctor ones.
my
They're so
Snoopy mask
creepy.
was scary. Like those, and the
Oh.
Easter bunny, the 1980s
Oh,
Easter
they were
bunny,
creepy.
creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
true.
sorry.
Okay, no, it's all right. So, but then, okay, so Pope Gregory III designated November 1st in the 18th century as a time to honor All Saints.
Mhm.
All Saints Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain. The wait, I can't read my own handwriting. Dang it. All right. Before so then the evening before was known as All Hallows Eve.
Mhm.
And later Halloween in time it evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving out jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, and donning costumes and eating treats. But also, listen to this, borrowing from European traditions, Americans started dressing up in costumes, going house to house, asking for money or food.
Yes.
Did you
It
know
was
that?
like candy
I did
before.
read that.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the late 1800s, a move happened in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghost pranks, and witchcraft parties. Both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really need to look at it this way. Regardless, how I view it is regardless of what or how it originated or how it started, it's really about what you're doing and how you're celebrating it now with your children.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
We all watch scary movies. I mean, maybe
I
not all of
don't.
us.
I
I
do
don't.
not. I do not like scary movies. They
don't?
scare the crap out of me. I am a big child. I even sleep with a nightlight on. My boyfriend can concur with this.
Yeah. I don't 'cause of the
He
dreams
gave
it
me
gives
crap
me.
the other day.
Yeah.
He goes, "Babe, I'm here. Why do you need a nightlight on?" I'm like, "Because I do."
Yeah.
Because it's a little
'Cause I
freaky
do.
now.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't like the dark. okay?
Growing up too, like my favorite memory of Halloween was anybody that grew up in Burleson that's listening, Lynn Lane was the street to be on
Yes.
Halloween. I had the honor and pleasure of growing up on Lynn Lane, 713 Lynn
nice.
Lane, and my dad was the one that had the big gorilla cage made out of wood and the gorilla suit, and he would shake the bars, and every house had like this theme or something you could walk through, set up in their front yard. And it's just not like it used to be. I mean, it's kind of gotten back to that. There's people that are a lot more festive in community. I feel like after COVID, people kind of got back to their roots and
Yeah.
things. They get a lot more festive. And community came together for different things. But I remember that as a child. It was a great memory.
Right. And that's all I'm saying is, your kids are getting dressed up, and like now at, churches are celebrating it as, trunk or treat. So
Mhm.
they're making it safe for your children
Right.
and also allowing our kids to be able to dress up and have fun. It's just a
Yeah,
fun.
And realize, it's not
Yeah.
about demons and
No.
like that you were Satan worshiper. And like when I mentioned earlier, like I have some stories I can tell about the church I used to go to when I was a kid, and versus like some churches see it as literally not what you read
Mhm.
to us, and it because I mean, you got to be honest. Everyone has. There's those people who mean good by doing the ritual that they were doing to ward off evil spirits, but there was also those groups that were doing to bring in.
Right.
And that's where the churches got involved, and the churches were upset and saying like, "Oh, well," and then they didn't because bigotry was big back then,
Yeah.
and small-mindedness was a big thing back then. So if one party was doing it a bad way, all parties were. So they saw it that way, but my church when I was a kid, I was scarred for a long time. I didn't know what the heck. And like I was kind of freaked out that my dad even like cuz I guess he knew what they were going to show us and like, oh my gosh, it was horrible. I think I was like 7 years old and
Ugh.
we're in Sunday school, right? Quote unquote Sunday school. Which I love Sunday school, but this was, I don't know what this was. So I was in class and they're like, okay, we're going to teach you about what the reality of Halloween is and why you shouldn't celebrate it and why this, that, and the other. Girls, they showed us a video of a woman being stripped naked. I'm 7. Stripped naked, put on an altar, and sacrificed by slitting her wrists and her ankles and draining her blood out and worshiping Satan. That was what I was told that Halloween was when I was like 7.
Okay, you know what you're reminding me of right now?
Wow.
Do y'all remember the Living Hell here in Burleson at the
No.
church?
No.
Okay, I was a teenager, but I went through the living. It was I forget the church at Burleson. I think the Living Hell at Halloween. You would go through it, and there was different rooms you'd go into. And one room you went into, and these are all actors, but somebody was shooting up drugs. And then the next room you went into, a girl is in stirrups having an abortion. And I was like,
oh my
15 years old, and I'm
Lanta.
like, but they made each room like a living hell. And I'm like, and it was a church, and I'm like, oh, and I apologize if it's not the church at Burleson, but it was the big one right there on Renfro. But I remember this is back in 1996, 97. It was a big deal, and it had everybody
What?
talking, and I was like, oh my gosh. So you reminded me of that.
That crap scarred me for a long time. So I was like anti-Halloween. Like I would only dress up as like a princess, only like really, really, really happy, good things. And it was
Oh.
bad. It was really bad.
Well, the thing I don't agree with is sparking fear
yeah.
or trying
Yes.
to
use fear as a tool to get you to God because that's not what God calls us to do. That's
No.
or
no.
just or even scaring children. I don't like my
No.
oldest son Dane. He thinks it's funny, and when he was young, I used to think it was funny scaring him. But we carry that stuff with us for life. And in the beginning of the month, my pastor talked about it too. He had this story of Bloody Bones and something who Open Door Church. He was growing up and he got scared, and he said I carried that. It messed with his sleep for years.
Yeah.
So I don't agree
doesn't
with the
take much.
scaring
Yeah.
of especially children.
No.
But community festivities, coming together.
Yes. And
Dressing
that's
up-
what Halloween really is about. It's
I
not
agree.
about, or at least that's what it is now. Back in the day, it could have been something different. It could have been a negative thing or a satanic thing for certain groups. Like I said, certain groups, not
Exactly.
everyone.
Well, they make
Exactly.
it that way.
They make it that way. They
Yeah.
make it sound like it's everyone, but it's like saying like, and this is probably gonna get me shot, but like saying like, well, because she's lesbian and I hang out with her, I'm automatically lesbian. It's like, come
That's
on, you
not
guys,
right.
that's not how
No.
this works. So I'm glad that it's kind of calmed down because even like 10 years ago, you guys have to admit that Halloween was a big issue between the
Right.
church and the community. It was
Yeah.
a big issue. Churches wouldn't do trunk or treats. They would do
Yeah.
holiday parties and they would do like jump around things, and kids were only allowed to dress up in like certain things. And I remember taking my girls to a Halloween thing back when they were really little, and my oldest is 14 now and my youngest is 11, so I guess like 10 years ago I would say, or 9 years ago. And the requirement was that they couldn't have certain costumes. It couldn't be scary, it couldn't be death, it couldn't be this, it couldn't be
Mhm.
that. And I understand
Yeah.
partially where the church comes from on that, but I'm so glad to see that now they're realizing, okay, the more that it's like kind of like that rebellious teen, the more you push that like they're wrong, the more they're gonna do it. So
Yeah.
if they want to dress up as some creepy dead clown, okay, whatever. Because you really think that they think they're a creepy dead clown and they're gonna go murder people tomorrow? No,
Right.
they're not. They're just like, that's a really cool creepy costume. I want to wear it.
Right. I want to scare people. Like
Yeah.
kids are,
Right.
they think it's fun to
It's
scare.
funny. To
They
scare
do.
each
We did
other.
too.
I did too. Yeah.
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 Oh, by the way, I didn't win my decorating
Dang it.
contest.
Oh, dang it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, I did win my costume contest though.
You did. You
I
were a
did.
raven.
I was. My
That's
costume, I have to
awesome.
admit, was kind of rocking it.
It was really
awesome. It's
cool.
the first time I ever went all out on a costume, and I was like, you know what?
Did you have black contacts in?
I did.
How was okay? How
I
was
got home
that?
and my boyfriend was like, "Babe, it was kind of freaky. You look like a demon." I was like, "I'm sorry."
Like,
Oh,
how-
dang.
Could you see normally?
I couldn't really. I mean, you could, and I say this, and please, no PD get mad at me, but like it impaired my vision a little bit because they're not from the doctor, so they don't fit your eye perfectly.
Mhm.
So it covers like the entire colored part of your eye, but then it kind of shifts and moves as they're in your eye. So like the actual seeing part, every once in a while would have like a half moon, and I wouldn't be able to see perfectly. So that was kind of annoying, but other
Yeah.
than that, it wasn't bad. It wasn't
Right.
too bad.
I could never do anything like that because I wear prescription.
Oh yeah, you would have to have prescription colored changing
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, you would.
Or wear the contacts and then wear glasses. and
Or
let
just
you
wear the
hear.
contacts and not be
That's
able to
true.
see anything.
Oh yeah, no, that
yeah,
doesn't sound
that
like a
doesn't
good
go
idea.
well. And then have everyone just you know what, you should dress up as Miss Daisy for Halloween, and we'll just drive you around.
Right?
I could do that.
Colored contacts.
Yes. All right. All right. I like
So
that.
I love the history of what
Yes.
it
Right.
is and
Yeah.
what it is now, and
Yeah.
you know,
And I encourage people to
Yeah.
go out and actually read the history of Halloween because it's actually really, really interesting, especially if you
is.
go into the different cultures and the different ways that they saw it and they started it. Some of them, yes, are dark, very
Right.
dark, but it depends on what you're reading. And like I said, everyone was not the same and it wasn't all for the same reasons, but it's super interesting. And you can't be judgmental and critical and go after people if you don't know the facts.
Exactly.
And it's just not fair.
Right.
well, my thing is just stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like everybody doesn't need to think the same.
No.
So don't
No.
cast judgment on people. I cannot talk today. Judgment.
Hey.
Judgment.
That's how I felt earlier. I was like,
No.
oh,
Do not don't
Sorry.
just because you don't like it and somebody else does, don't be ugly about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have the to each their own mentality, and that also is a controversy in the church. And my pastor, I love my pastor, I love my church. He talks on that often, that we shouldn't have the to each their own mentality, because as Christians we're supposed to guide people and teach people and say, hey, you know, like, I appreciate you're that person, but this is what the Bible says.
right.
And so in some aspects I do agree with that. In a lot of aspects I do. So please don't shoot me, Pastor Jesse, I love you. But I do believe to an extent that people should to each their own and pick your battles. Like
Yeah.
not everything is worth fighting tooth and nail over, and you lose people that way. To be honest,
there's other things that we can invest our time and energy into that'll produce good things and to come out of it and experiences other than dwelling on other stuff. So I'm sorry. That was a long answer.
Sorry.
What was your
No,
next?
no, it's all right. So I guess I could touch base on a little bit on like black cats and ghosts on
Yeah.
Halloween. I think that was, you know,
Please
that
do.
because again, like what you guys are saying is absolutely correct. You know, there is these pre notions, or you know, maybe they saw this or heard this on YouTube about Halloween. Like there was this big huge, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this big huge like Halloween thing going on YouTube, the YouTube bloggers and bloggers that were talking about don't participate in Halloween if you're a Christian. Like there was all this crazy hot mess that was happening, and I was
No, I
like,
know.
wow, really? Oh yeah,
What was
a
their
big
reasoning?
it was because of it. They looked at it as it was a pagan ritual that started it. That's what they were promoting out to everybody that was in, you know, that don't let your kids go to Halloween and trick or treating. That's, you know, you're contributing to the reason behind Halloween, which was a pagan ritual. And it wasn't. I just explained to you, you know, what it was really about. And that's why I thought this might be a really good show, because it's still, you still hear about parents saying, I don't want my kids to dress up. I don't want them to participate in Halloween. You know, we're Christians.
It only has the power you give it, though. That's what people
Exactly.
don't understand. It's like, if you don't teach your kid that that's what Halloween's about, they're not going to go into Halloween thinking that's what it's about. They're going to go into it thinking it's a fun thing, a community project, get-togethers with my friends, barbecues, candy, the whole 9 yards. That's what they're going to see Halloween as. But if you sit there and you go, well, this is what Halloween really is, well, then you're keeping that legacy alive. You're keeping that negativity alive. You're the
Yes.
reason that it's still negative and still bad and still evil.
Yeah.
I got a whole spiel when I had first got married to Terrell's from his mother, and everything you just read, she read off to me. Like she pulled the Bible out, and I'm just like, okay, I'm listening. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna let my kids participate. But she did not like that. But I don't agree with that.
No. And who doesn't like to dress up? Heck, we're adults and we still like to
Yeah.
dress up.
Absolutely.
seen
Yeah.
That is so much fun.
Getting dressed for a gala is almost the same thing because we're putting on just as much freaking makeup, to be honest, and doing our hair all fun and putting
And-
on some dress that we would never wear any other day.
Yeah.
It's the
Well, I
same
was
thing
sick
thing.
over the weekend, so I don't really want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
All right, well,
know,
let's
I'm
talk about the
sorry.
black cats and ghosts on
Yes.
Halloween really quick. All right, so Halloween has always been a holiday filled with mystery, magic, and superstition.
Superstitious?
Thank you. Well, see, I can't talk. You put it on me now. I'm just kidding. It began as a Celtic end of summer festival during which people felt especially close to deceased relatives and friends.
Kind of like Dias de los Muertos. Or
Right.
however I said that.
Yeah, that's
Botched
the
that, but
Muertos.
anyways,
Yeah, I always say it wrong too. It's okay. For
Yeah.
for these friendly spirits, they set places at the dinner table, left treats on doorsteps and along the side of the road, and lit candles to help loved ones find their way back to the spirit world.
Oh, that's literally like Dias de los Muertos.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Today's Halloween ghosts are often depicted as more fearsome and malevolent. Is that how you say that? Malevolent? Malevolent.
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 Okay.
I can't say it either. Oh,
Malevolent,
gosh.
yeah.
You
that
said it right
word.
the first time.
Right. And or costumes and superstitions are scarier too. We avoid crossing paths with black cats, afraid that they might bring us bad luck. This idea has its roots in the Middle Ages when many people believed that witches avoided oh my
Detection?
gosh, yes, by turning themselves into black cats. We try not to walk under ladders for the same reasons. I mean, again, it's superstitions, right?
It's hogwash.
Yes, and superstitions may have come from ancient Egyptians who believed that triangles were sacred. It also may have something to do with the fact that walking under a leaning ladder tends to be fairly unsafe. And around Halloween, especially, we try to avoid breaking mirrors, stepping on cracks in the road, or spilling salt.
Did you say salts?
Salt. Yeah, you don't want to spill salt, which I mean, I thought
not
salt
I
was.
thought salt was supposed to keep you safe.
I know, I thought so too. I thought you have to put like a.
Yeah, you make a
think
little ring like
salt
Hocus
around
Pocus.
you.
We all
Yeah.
watched the movie. I mean, come on now.
right, right.
Throw it over your shoulder or something.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
luck.
I have a black
That's an
cat.
Italian thing, I think.
I grew up with my mom
That's all
saying
black.
like the same thing. Like
Yeah.
black cats are, that's go the other way. Go the other
Yep.
way. Did you see that
Oh,
black
see that
cat?
black cat?
She would literally take a detour. All right, we're gonna talk more about it when we get back. All right.
Stay tuned.
For more Christmas.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Serving Johnson County, Texas. Joco Community Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Hey. All right. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out our lineup and more at JocoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, 1-844-839-4245, and be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. We're back, and we were talking about black cats and
Ladders and superstitions and all that. Ooh.
yeah, all that stuff. I wish I could roll my R's like that.
Well, I'm German.
That's true.
Is that why?
Yeah.
You have
Could
to also,
you speak
you also
German?
have to gurgle.
Ja, ich kann Deutsch sprechen.
What else do you speak?
Well, muy poquito español.
Okay.
Muy poquito. And I can say I knew a little bit more French, but now I can only say like je m'appelle Diana et tu.
My name is
Diana.
But you're fluent in German.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Okay.
I did go to German school when I lived in Germany.
Yeah.
I didn't go to
Otherwise, you
American
might have
school.
flunked out if you didn't. Yeah.
Right.
Learn
And
German.
did y'all have to learn English?
Well,
You were English when you went to Germany.
yes.
School,
Yeah.
right?
So I actually was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then from Las Vegas, Nevada, moved to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, where my sister was born. And then from Wichita, Kansas, she was 6 months old and I was 6 years old. And we moved to Germany and lived there since I was, I didn't move to the States till I was 17.
Okay.
Was
Yeah.
your dad military? Is that why?
My dad was Air
Okay.
Force and he kept wanting to stay out there. And in fact, until my parents had the divorce occur when I was 14, we were supposed to stay. They didn't want to move back to the States. They wanted to stay in Germany.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I was supposed to marry a German. Sorry, babe. But I didn't. I married Darren Roberts. Hey.
Hey.
As an American boy.
Yeah, American Texan. Never left Texas until I took him to Florida.
Oh my gosh.
That's
These Texas boys need. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna literally shoot me later when they hear this.
side tangent.
So yeah, side hinge. You Texas boys need to get the heck out of Texas and go do something.
Yes.
Like when a woman asks you, "Do you like to travel?" and you say yes, she doesn't mean to Oklahoma.
No.
Okay,
No.
they're just that's my little high horse thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we do not mean go to Oklahoma or go to freaking
Cleburne.
yeah
Right.
Cleveland.
No.
Get some culture there, boys. Anyways,
Yes.
That's
yes.
funny. Okay. So
Oh,
so
Christmas.
little tangent. Sorry.
no, I love it. I love it. What was next on your list?
Okay, so do we want to go into Christmas? Because
Yes,
that was
let's
pretty
go into
much
Christmas.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't
Because there's a lot more. There is a lot more when it comes to Halloween. So definitely do some more research on
Yes,
it.
there's a lot.
But also recognize that we only in life, everything in life can either be a negative or a positive. It's what you make of it.
Absolutely.
Right. And we have this holiday in place. All the other kids are going to be going and celebrating and having, but that doesn't, does that mean that you have to? No. If you really feel strongly against it, then by all means, it's your opinion and it's your perception of
Right.
it when it comes to, down to the end of it. Right.
right.
But at the same time, it's like, why make something that could be positive into something negative just because there were some, like we said, some scenarios
Mhm.
back in the past where they
Right.
did utilize this as a negative.
Right.
And there's a lot more about Gregory Pope. And there's a lot more about, All Saints Day too. So if you, and that's more like a Catholic, it
Right.
was it started with the Catholic Church. So, come on, guys. Let's not look at some of the witchery or,
Right.
Satan.
That might have been what it was about back then, but
It's not about that now.
if you
Right.
don't want it to
So-
be about that now, then stop making
Right.
it about that
Right. I mean, if you're not celebrating it
Just
that,
stop.
I look at it, if you're not celebrating it that way, why?
Yeah. Why keep bringing it up? Like,
Why
let it,
stress
if you
about
really
that?
want it to stop, then let it change.
Right.
Let it change into something positive,
Yeah.
which is what it's trying to be now.
Right.
Just a fun day to dress up and hang out with your friends and get candy.
Exactly. And scary costumes. I mean, I do want to
Scary
say one
costumes,
thing
yeah.
on scary costumes. You know what? Look,
I was
we've
pretty
got
scared this year.
Halloween. We've got Halloween movies, and honestly, Halloween itself, the movie Halloween, was kind of what I think branched us out a little more to wanting to wear scary movie, like
Right.
scary. You
Mhm.
know, we have haunted houses and stuff. You know, it's
Right.
not like these people are actually. I mean, I can't talk on everybody. I know there have been some situations and storylines where some serious stuff happened, but it doesn't always happen on Halloween.
No.
I mean, look at some of the massacres that have happened back in the past. They were not on Halloween. But again, that's just me.
Right.
I don't know. It's up to you.
So
Wear what you want.
Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. Yes. So Thanksgiving. All right. There is a lot of controversy when it comes to Thanksgiving. All right. Hold on. Let me pull this up
And it
there really quick.
doesn't, honestly, Thanksgiving doesn't have a lot of religious controversy. It just has to do with cultural and society.
I think that's the
Controversy.
reason why I like it is because it doesn't have controversy surrounding it. And I don't like
It does for some people, though. Some people are very anti-Thanksgiving because of the reason it's here.
Well, I think that any chance you have to sit around a table and
Yes,
say
and
what you're
thankful.
thankful for
Yes.
Yeah.
and eat and be in, in the company of the people that you
Right.
love and care about is great.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, that's us changing the narrative of what it actually was.
Right.
So
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
you allow it to be that that's what that is now, then it's a good thing. But
Yeah.
it did have some pretty big controversy back in the day.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And if you have a Facebook account, you'll see people will post, do y'all know what today's really about? And did y'all know the history of
Yeah.
it? So you have those people that will remind you. But what did you
Oh,
find on it?
So, okay. In 1621, the Plymouth colonists and this is a Indian tribe. I'm going to butcher it and I apologize if you are Indian. Wampanoag? I have no idea. I'm so sorry. But they share.
But I'm not sure.
What is it?
I think it's Wampanoag, but I'm not sure.
Wampanoag. We could be Wampanoag. It's Indian again. So I'm sorry if I know Cherokee. Okay.
I know
Or
Cherokee.
Cherokee. But they shared an autumn harvest feast that is acknowledged today as one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the colonies. Now, I know there is a lot of controversy on really the history because there's a lot of history that has come up that has not really produced that as being a very good facts or sources on what really happened. Look, the past is the past.
Right.
We're looking at the present moment. And this is what I'm going to say about Thanksgiving. It is a time to be thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what happened and what our ancestors did back in the past, we need to come together now as all of us,
Right.
or regardless of our origin, our skin color, any of that. We need to just be able to be thankful that we are a healthy community and get around people, in your families and have whatever food you want.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a turkey.
It does not
I know
have to
a
be a
lot
turkey.
of people that do crab dinners
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving
Or
and
Chinese.
for Christmas or Chinese.
Yeah.
I had Chinese for
It
Christmas
doesn't
dinner
have to be
once.
turkey. I
Or
love
Thanksgiving.
that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be turkey. And by the
Right.
way, I really don't like Thanksgiving turkey. I really don't.
I mean,
It's really
depends on who
dry.
makes it.
90% of the time it's really dry, and then you're just tired, and I'm like, okay, I'm over it.
Who
you smoked
made
it?
the dressing is all I want to
Yeah.
know.
Right. Yeah. The dressing is always
Yeah,
like,
I'm the
who's
cranberry
making
sauce.
it?
Cannot put too much sage in there. If your dressing is green, you're doing it wrong. I'm
Right.
just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, but I mean, that's what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, look, again, that's the past. We live
Mhm.
in the present moment.
Right.
I say keep it positive and stay in the present moment.
Exactly.
If you want your kids to be well educated and well versed in what happened in that time era,
Which I do think is important.
It
I
is
do think it's
important.
important to understand where it came from,
Right.
but not to dwell on that because that's not what it is now.
right?
But the history behind it is very important because
Yeah.
otherwise, like people say, history repeats itself because you're not versed in it or you don't know, and so if you don't know, you are more likely to repeat.
Right.
So it is important to know those facts, but at the same time, like we've been talking about, like embrace the goodness that's come out of it and it's changed, and embrace the change that keeps happening and keeps bringing people closer. Something that was negative is now something positive.
Right.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And I completely agree with that because I mean, there's a lot of things I could say about a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You know, that happen within different religions,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh, just in that alone. Oh gosh. You know
Right.
what? We should talk about that one day. Sorry.
Oh,
Anyway.
if you do, let me come
We'll
on
need
the
a couple
show.
of weeks on that. We should do a series. We should do a series if we do that because it's going to take some time.
Whew.
You're gonna be
All right.
unearthing some old feelings.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I think Christmas though should be really more addressed than Thanksgiving.
I
mean,
agreed. I agree.
honestly, because I mean, we all still celebrate Thanksgiving. I haven't really heard, other than the history of it and behind it, I feel that's only been really the biggest controversy when it comes to Thanksgiving. But I think that Christmas and Halloween have definitely gotten hit the
biggest, yeah.
hardest.
Especially
Right.
when it comes to
Yeah.
religion. For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
On to Christmas.
On to
Yes.
Christmas. All right.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry. I
No, go
gotta cross talk real quick.
yes.
Okay. Yesterday, I know y'all had to see this. It's the elf.
Mhm.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Elf on the
Billy the
Shelf?
Elf. Whatever his name is.
No.
From the movie Elf.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yes.
So it's a picture of him and it says October 31st.
Oh, I saw that one.
No, wait. Yeah. November 1st. And then October 31st, it's what was it?
I think it was like Snoopy or something, and it was like something sad. I can't remember, but it was something Halloween, and then November 1st was the elf dancing and saying, "It's Christmas." And
Yeah, like Christmas.
people
Okay,
are skipping
anyways.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving nowadays, is basically what it's saying. Is people
Yeah.
are skipping
Right.
Thanksgiving and going straight to Christmas. But you know what? I'm all for it. Let's do it. Like I said, don't really like the turkey anyway, so we're good.
How many Christmas decorations have y'all seen out already?
Oh, mine are going up
they
tonight.
all- they're
Mine are
all-
going up tonight.
Are they
Are they?
really?
Yep.
See?
Day after Halloween, my Christmas decorations go up.
Wow. Okay, that is a controversy in itself too. I have to
Yes.
point out because
That's why we're friends.
People get pissed.
They
Yeah,
do.
people get pissed.
I don't get pissed, but I do say if I'm gonna, let's go through the holidays one at a time.
Yeah.
Christmas has definitely been Christmas is a hard one for me because I will tell you, I love Christmas. I love celebrating with my family. Absolutely. I feel that in time, it has shifted and changed to more of a who has the better decorations.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's turned into
Right?
a social thing, like
Yeah.
a social status. Yeah.
Yes, and commercials. It's a commercial
Mhm.
holiday.
Well,
it is a
just like
high
Valentine's
end
Day or
commercial.
Halloween. It's all
Right.
commercialized. but
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's been turned into more who spent the most
Yeah.
for everybody, who put the most like decor up. I mean, it's definitely become more of that
Agreed.
where I really take a step back for Christmas.
Mhm.
I really do.
I thought that way. That bothered me too.
Yeah.
So last year on Christmas Day, the kids were like, "What are we gonna do?" We're like, "We're going down to Lancaster, and we're going to
Volunteer.
hang out."
Yeah.
And that was the best Christmas I ever had.
Because that takes me to, can I go to
Yeah,
a point
of
really
course,
quick?
of
Yeah.
course.
This takes me back to, okay, so where presents originated.
Yes.
Okay. Saint Nicholas
Mm-hmm.
was he did like toy making on the side.
Yeah.
Like he liked
And he was
to,
a wealthy man when he started.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And so he saw a lot of the younger kids, like he would ride out, they had their horses and wagons and whatnot, and he would ride out and he would like see
the
it would
impoverished
he paid
children, yeah.
attention
Mhm.
to the children that were out and about that did not have anything to play with, and then he would see later down the road kids that did. So he wanted to make it a point to make a toy for each one of
Mhm.
those children that were sitting there looking at the other kids playing with toys that they couldn't have or couldn't afford.
Yep.
Right.
And he would leave them on their doorstep
Mm-hmm.
and nobody knew who it came from.
yeah.
Right. So it was the act of giving to those in need.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like that needs to be something really 100% more addressed
Agreed.
than caring so much about how many gifts you have under the Christmas tree, how much money was spent on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just gave me an idea.
Ooh.
We should start something this year, like literally after the show, even though it's only November 2nd, but start something, a call to action to the community of Burleson to get one item and leave it on someone's doorstep.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just your neighbor or anybody, just go grab something and leave
Yeah.
it.
And it doesn't have to be anything big, or
And,
it's
and we
just-
can
it's
even
a
like start a
thought.
page and take a picture of it, and everybody share everything that they did.
Don't do an address.
Right.
And
No,
don't do
no,
anything
no.
like
No
that, or
address,
who
no
you left
name,
it.
Right. Just
no.
random.
Yeah.
Just random. You
random.
don't. You
Think
can
of
know
a
the
name of it
person.
and think of a hashtag for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
And we'll have a
it.
page where people can just go and spread Christmas cheer.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's where it originated
Yeah.
on presents wise during Christmas. And I think that's where it needs to get back to.
Yeah.
Because yes, I'm sorry, Target. I'm sorry, all of you, shopping centers
Big
and stuff
Pharma
out
and
there,
all
Big
that stuff,
Pharma.
yeah.
But look, it should be about you guys giving too. You guys are bringing in the most
Mhm.
income all the time throughout every year. Target, especially Walmart, all these
Amazon.
big Amazon. Well, all of these big companies should be what's helping and giving out also.
I agree.
We should be like Amazon, except we'll be amazing
Ooh,
door droppers.
amazing door
Christmas.
droppers.
We'll have to definitely.
The wheels are
I have a
turning.
feeling that
Yes.
next week we're going to have to continue this conversation too, because we're running out of time and there's still
Oh,
a whole
yeah.
lot to talk about.
There,
but
yes,
like, to go off of your point as far as the Santa Claus being so overdrawn now, where kids are getting flipping mopeds from Santa and cars. Yeah. And so I read something years ago that really stuck with me, and I've done it ever since. Because you know how parents get pissed off, well, why does Santa get all the credit and blah, blah, blah? Because we're doing it wrong.
right.
Santa isn't supposed to bring you the biggest, bestest gifts, because the kids that are in school that, like me, when I was a kid, they couldn't afford a freaking present at all. My mom couldn't afford to. And all she could do was make us shirts, which were wonderful. They were great. They were awesome, and dresses and things like that. But you start building this complex in these children that these kids who come from families that don't have a lot of money, that they're not as good as these other kids, or they weren't good enough all year long because they didn't get the big present. They didn't get the motorcycle thingy that they wanted that had the cool engine that goes beep. And
The thing
but that kid did,
advertised.
and that kid makes fun of me every single day at school, but he got it, so I don't understand. And so then this whole complex just keeps being built up in our kids. And I saw this thing one year that said, stop making Santa the forefront of Christmas and start making him like just like the cool, like give the little, just a step above stocking stuffer stuff from
Right.
Santa,
Right.
and let the big stuff be from you. And that way they're not feeling like the kids at school aren't feeling like that they aren't good enough and they didn't do enough and they're not this, that, and the other, because like I said, they didn't get the big gift that they were hoping Santa would bring. And because then that way they know, and it's reality based, that
Right.
they didn't get that big present because mom and dad couldn't afford it, because it comes from mom and dad. It doesn't come from Santa based on their behavior.
Right.
And that's a huge deal in my opinion. So I've stopped doing that, because I used to buy all the really cool fancy stuff and it was from Santa. And then I actually did start getting pissed off because my kids were like, look at Santa brought me. And oh yeah, my mom got me this shirt. I'm like, you know what? Screw you, Santa.
I'm Santa.
I'm Santa. Dang it.
Santa. I like that. Well, and I think so. Like in my family, we would get a little deal of chocolates that were cold in our stockings.
Yeah, those are cute.
And then we would get like
Yeah.
a little cute, like nice, sweet little stocking stuffer. I think that's important to say because, us as even parents or human beings, we all have our little like, faults. We have our things that we are not maybe always doing we get on ourselves, right? For doing
Yeah.
things that we're not always doing maybe the way we really want to or way we should be, right? And our kids are going through that too. So whether they're bad or good, because that's what Santa came from, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's supposed to be the good children, the bad children. Yeah.
right. And there was a story saying that St. Nicholas was giving the coal to the bad kids and giving the toys to the good kids.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he would
Not
watch
facts.
he would watch their actual behavior.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
where it came from being good or bad. Like it
Yeah.
was these, it was us in our past, like our past ancestors that were putting this information out to our
Mhm.
kids saying, well, if you're good, you're going to get a good toy. If you're bad, you're going to get coal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna
Yeah.
get a new pair of shoes or a new dress that mommy made because Santa didn't think you were that great. Like, we need to change that narrative big time.
Right,
Like, so
And whose birthday is it?
it's Christ.
It is Christ's birthday. That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, it's Jesus' birthday. You're getting what you're getting, and be thankful for
Yes.
Right.
it because we're celebrating his birthday.
There was something I used to do with my girls when they were younger, because you know how kids, they get more toys than you can handle. And I used to love doing this with them. Now I don't do it with them because they don't have the toys and everything. It's just clothes mainly. And we donate all the time anyway. But when they were littler, right, it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, I would have them go through all of their toys and say, okay, there's a bunch of kids out there that don't have toys this Christmas. Why don't we go through our toys and we find out what toys we want to give to other kids?
Right.
And so they would go through all their toys. And number one, it gives space for you for the new toys, which helps because as parents, we know that you run out quickly. And number two, it gives them that ability to have that giving spirit, which
Right.
is all about Christmas.
Yep.
And so if your kids, here's a little tip for the parents out there who have that quote unquote spoiled brat child that never grateful for anything. If you start having them go through their stuff every year, 2 weeks before Christmas or so, and let them know that they're in doing that, they're giving toys to children who may not get them. I guarantee you're going to start seeing a change in your kid after a couple of years. You're going to start seeing them be less like, oh, I want this, I want this. They're going to be more like, hey, mom, I really want to give this toy away, or I've been really thinking about it. Can we go do this? It's going to change. It's going to put that mustard seed, like the Bible says, the smallest mustard seed grows the biggest and the longest and the widest. It just takes those little things that you put in your kid's head. So if
you
you
gotta water it.
Yeah, you have to water it. And if you want
Right.
your kids to not be selfish, teach them how to not be selfish.
Right.
Well, and that goes to the point too. Like if you're, if you're saying like, okay, it's Santa or it's Jesus's birthday, but here we're going to just give you a gift. What are
Yeah.
you going to give to Jesus?
Yeah.
Right.
I think an act of kindness, an act of
Yes.
something that you could do for something else,
An act
for
of
somebody
service.
else,
Yep.
an act of service, an act of kindness, something to give back to somebody else is what
Right.
Jesus would want as a gift.
Absolutely.
Go down on Lancaster, give your time, serve people, go down
or knock on
to-
your neighbor's door.
knock on your neighbor's door. Maybe go to a place that we can designate where people can discreetly message an address and say, hey, I know they might need help this year. Their kids are this age, this age, this age.
Mhm.
And then just do a door drop.
Right.
Participate in the Giving Tree stuff, the Angel program, there's so many when it comes to the Christmas season that are available to you, where you literally go into any shopping mall and they have those little ornaments with the family's name and the ages like you were just describing, and a location for you to drop it off. It's not their home because of course safety reasons, and then you attach that ornament hanger to the presents and it goes to that family. And
Right.
And
the
the schools and the churches are very proactive with that too.
Yep.
So if you know a family too, ask your kid's school. I guarantee you they know of a church where you can have your kids can have a Christmas.
Right.
Or you can
Mhm.
help somebody that needs a Christmas,
Keep
might not be
going.
able to
Yes,
do.
Miss Diana, keep going.
All right. So there is one thing that I want to touch on before we're done is the
Yeah.
Christmas tree.
Yes.
Okay, so the staple direction of holiday season has roots much deeper in history than Christmas itself. Interestingly enough, the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, the event which Christians celebrate on Christmas, most likely occurred in the springtime. Scientists and historians believe, however, the Catholic Church chose December for Christmas celebration because ancient Romans, Egyptians, and Germans groups all observed pagan holidays around the winter solstice, thank you,
Mhm.
which typically occurs on December 20th or 21st. On this day, people would usually kill cattle so they did not need to be fed over the winter, resulting in a large chaotic feast similar to Mardi Gras festival we'd see in New Orleans today. Rather than completely banning the practice of non-Christian holidays, the church placed Christian holidays on top of the pagan holidays so church could control the celebration and bring more people into the faith. That being said, evergreen trees and shrubs played a tremendous role in pagan holidays on all sides of Mediterranean seas, serving as a reminder that despite the cold of winter, spring would come again and bring green. Putting evergreen branches above doorways and archways was a common practice throughout much of the ancient world. The tree, however, came out of Germany. Okay, here we go. Here's the true
She's like,
facts,
"It's
people.
not German."
All right, with cookies and apples being hung on its branches as treats for the household members to enjoy on Christmas Day. German immigrants in the United States were the first Americans to decorate a Christmas tree. Though they lived in isolated pockets of the Midwest, being largely ignored by the rest of the American society. All changed when Queen Victoria married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, a German royal who brought the tradition of the Christmas tree to Buckingham Palace. all fashionable members of British society had to have a Christmas tree, and subsequently every family in the English-speaking world, Canadians, Australians, and Americans, despite their break from the British Empire less than a century prior, soon adopted the Christmas tree as a holiday staple, and decorations evolving as technology did.
Mhm.
So cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like think about how awesome that is. So like
is.
one person, one culture brought a lot of cultures brought a lot of these holiday traditions and stuff to
Mhm.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, it's a
And we
cumulative of a bunch of
adopted
different
it.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely. So why would we frown upon these things when we wanted to adopt them?
Mhm.
Right.
Is my point.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Well, I like the fact that you were saying that the tree represented spring and a new life, which I think is why a lot of Christianity and Christians, if they knew the facts behind the tree, would support it, because Christmas is supposed to recognize Christ and the rebirth and the resurrection and new life, which is exactly what that tree is supposed to represent, is a new life and a new beginning, and that there will be life again. So that ties in perfectly. So I can understand why they wouldn't maybe rebuke that, but I didn't know all of that, and that's really cool. So
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
why, I mean, that's why it's really good to educate ourselves on these traditions and find out what really happened, what really started. You know, this is just it was by Gino Gastani. Sorry if I butchered your last name. Oh my gosh. But the title is "Why Do We Do That? A Look at the Origin of Holiday Traditions."
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
you can go in there and you can look at a lot of a lot of the traditions that we've, like, especially the champagne on New Year's Eve. Like, we can
Right.
go over that next time. I'll save this.
Yeah.
But
Apples and cookies.
I was gonna say, like, next
apples
week,
and cookies.
Yeah,
So I think we should hang apples and cookies on our trees
we should. We should.
instead of
Be
putting
cute.
cookies on a plate for
raccoons
Santa.
Well,
will
see,
get
I
mine
never
'cause mine's
understood.
outside.
I
yeah.
always, as a kid, I never understood why my mom had remember older ornaments? Like, you can find them in any antique store. You go in and look for ornaments, you see those flipping little apples everywhere. I
Right.
never understood why they would hang apples on their dang tree. I'm like, why? Why an
Now
apple?
you know.
Now I know.
Right?
Yeah, or we would make cookies at school,
Yeah,
and then we
and
would
hang
write
'em
our
on the
names
tree.
on them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, are we gonna eat this? Looking at the teacher.
So maybe next week we continue this conversation a little bit more, because
Yeah.
there's so many traditions, and then also talk
And
about
Easter.
the opposite traditions that are celebrated on the same day and what those are supposed to be.
All right, guys, have a great week.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Here's important new information